Welcome back to ABC News Live special election coverage as Americans vote today. You know, intelligence officials are telling ABC News that extremists could target election-related infrastructure, even election workers, even voting sites themselves. So for more, let's bring in on this serious issue, ABC News contributor, former DHS official Elizabeth Neumann, along with Michael Waldman. He's president of the Brennan Center for Justice. So Elizabeth, first, what are the top concerns you have today around these security issues on Election Day?
That's right, Terry. I am concerned. Analysts from the company I work at, Moonshot, are seeing domestic violent extremists talk about potential targeting of the counting of ballots, targeting of wherever there might be election fraud. But that actually brings me to the broader concern. The broader concern is disinformation. Today is the day that the latest round of conspiracy theories will be developed. It will be an image, a video, a set of circumstances that are actually completely explainable that domestic violent extremists will use to create and concoct the latest conspiracy theories. And unfortunately, it's not just domestic actors. We know that Russia, Iran, and China are also very active in the foreign disinformation game. So for all voters, definitely go and vote, but also be mindful of what you see online. Check reputable sources. Don't spread further disinformation. And if you have questions about your local elections, contact local election officials. Don't trust what you're seeing online.
And Michael, thank you, Elizabeth. That brings up this whole notion that we now have a political party, the majority of whom just disavow, don't believe in the last election, that it was real at all. Data from 538 shows that 60% of Americans will have somebody who denies the legitimacy of the 2020 election on their ballot. And that has really fed what is the position of one of the major parties in the United States, that really you can't trust American elections. Is there any reason to believe that's true?
Well, it is part of what's new. We've had elections, parties change hands, president's party doesn't do so well, typically in a midterm election. We've never had one of the political parties dominated by voices that deny reality, deny that our elections are free and fair and secure. The good news today is that for all the worries folks have, it has been pretty much smooth sailing. Voters have been able to vote. Election officials and election workers have been able to do their thing without much intimidation. It is a calm and normal election day. You're right, though, that the worry is that as soon as the polls close, the rumors start to get pushed and peddled, and the election deniers already preemptively are screaming fraud. Now, of course, one of the interesting questions is if some of them win their elections, are they still going to insist it was all rigged? We may suddenly see them clam up. But what you're right, Elizabeth is right, that it's in the 12 to 24 to 48 hours after Election Day when the malicious and malevolent rumors pushed for partisan purposes begin.
And some of that, as Elizabeth, you point out, is likely going to come from our adversaries overseas. But how much is this? Look, 60% of these candidates are denying the confirmed against charges of fraud by 60 courts of law reality of the 2020 election. How dangerous are we to our own democracy at this point?
Look, I mean, democracy doesn't work if you don't trust the institutions, the governmental institutions. It is supposed to be an election or government by the people, right? So if the people don't trust the elections, they're not going to trust the government. The system starts to fall apart. So, you know, at a macro level, it's a huge concern, and every government leader or somebody running for office needs to take that into consideration. There's just such a distrust in government these days. But more importantly, we need to find ways to address our concerns that don't necessarily call for things to be existential threats and leading people to violence. It is the connection from disinformation to violence is very short, and while most people won't resort to violence, a small handful do. And so we need in the coming hours for elected officials, for those that lost, to handle things responsibly so we don't see more acts of violence.
That's it exactly. I've often said anyone can hold an election. The hard thing is to lose one and to acknowledge the legitimacy of the loss. We'll see how that goes in the coming days. Elizabeth and Michael, thanks very much. I know we'll be checking in with you through this election. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.